Hello, welcome back to my channel. It is a rainy, cozy day here today. I have the fire going. You might hear a little rain trickling in the background. You might hear a little bit of the burning wood, but hopefully that just adds to the ambiance of the coziness that we're trying to feel today. And we're going to be talking about 5 real ways that you can practice self-love right now. Self-love can sometimes sound like it's something just for us, right? Like, is it a self-serving thing? Well, the answer is no. Self-love allows us to show up for the other people in our lives the best way that we can. The more we nourish ourselves, the more we're compassionate with ourselves, and the more we're going to be able to show up for the others in our lives. As seasons change, I think it's a really great time to reflect on how we're feeling. So this week, I've just been reflecting on 5 different ways that I personally love to practice self-love, and I want to share some of those with you guys. The first habit or practice that I like to think about is, how would I speak to someone who came to me with the same sort of problem that I was dealing with? So imagine your mom or your best friend or someone that you love dearly in your life, and imagine they came up to you with maybe the same scenario that you're going through that day or that week or that season of life. So how would you talk to that person that you love dearly? How would you get them out of that? Think about all of the things that you would say and say it to yourself. You'd probably pour them a cup of tea. You'd probably ask them if they were comfortable. If it was a friend that was going through a really hard time, maybe you'd even go to their house and draw them a bath, or sit and talk with them and help them reflect and motivate them to move out of this hard place in their life. So that is the same love and attention we can give ourselves in times like that. For some reason, it's far too easy to neglect ourselves and to constantly be giving all of this nourishing, wonderful love to the other people in our lives. And as important that is to give love to others, it is so important for us to give that same love and attention and care to our own self so that we can show up even better for the other people in our lives. My next tip would be to create the space for self-reflection. And that can look like lots of different things, and I'll give you guys some tangible ways that I self-reflect for self-love. And that would be 1, journaling. If you're someone that doesn't journal regularly, getting yourself to your journal and writing down your thoughts can feel really strange. But once you find a journal that you like, you open to a blank page and you just start to write what's on your heart, this is going to feel incredibly therapeutic for you. It doesn't have to be a perfect journal that you can publish one day. No, this is something that is just messy, your messy thoughts down on paper, and it allows you to really reflect on what you're thinking. You'll surprise yourself through the process. When you put your pen down on paper, you'll surprise yourself in a way that you didn't even really realize exactly how you were feeling until it's on paper, because then you can go back and read that and your thoughts will just unfold and you'll have a realization of, wow, that's how I feel. And then being able to look back on that moment in time. Maybe you were having a harder time and you wrote everything out, and then a month later you look back at that page and you think, oh my goodness, I'm in such a better place now than I was when I wrote that. That is such a beautiful evolution and reflection that you're going to experience later on, and that helps so much with self-love because that shows your growth. And when we have growth, we're proud of ourselves. It builds confidence. It lets us know that the next time we're feeling that way, we know that we're going to eventually be able to get out of it. Another way, and one of my favorite ways to create a space for self-reflection, is through therapy. I've been in therapy for over 2 years now, and I think that therapy can get a bad reputation in the sorts of people thinking that if you're in therapy that you have problems, almost like what's wrong with you type of mentality. But I look at it so differently. I think that people who are in therapy are really the ones who are gonna be okay, because they're taking the time to sort things out, and they're taking the time and creating the space to heal and to discover more about themselves. I know for me, when I've gone through different life changes and transitions, like moving countries, when my husband and I got married and we had to cancel our wedding due to COVID and stuff like that, being able to talk about that kind of stuff with somebody who wasn't in my inner circle, who could kind of look at what I was going through from the outside and just like give me perspective on things, and just to listen to what I was going through. And you know, it's really beautiful in therapy when you talk about things, you kind of come to your own conclusions just by speaking them out loud, any situation that you're going through. So I really love that I've had that support throughout the years to really just become the best version of myself. I use BetterHelp for my weekly therapy, so thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. You can talk to your therapist in a private online experience at your convenience. There is a broad range of expertise with over 20,000 therapists in BetterHelp's network, which gives you access to help that may not be available in your area. You just fill out a questionnaire to help assess your needs, and then you get matched with a therapist in as little as 48 hours. Then you can schedule a secure video or phone session, and you can send unlimited messaging to your therapist. Everything you share is completely confidential. You can request a new therapist at any time for no additional charge, which is great. That's something that I experienced. I wasn't really vibing with my first therapist, so I went ahead and brought on a new person who I've had for a long time now and love. Join the 3 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of a BetterHelp therapist. Get 10% off of your first month with BetterHelp by going to betterhelp.com/rad. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rad to get 10% off of your first month with BetterHelp. I'll also put the link in my description box for you guys. My next tip for you is to forgive yourself. And this is different for each individual in terms of what it is that we're forgiving ourselves for. Maybe it's something big from your past. Maybe it's something little that you regularly need to learn to forgive yourself about. I know for me, it's taken time. I'm less like this, but before I would overanalyze certain social interactions, and I would criticize myself and what I said or what maybe they thought about me. And this is a moment of forgiveness and practicing compassion with yourself and realizing that nobody's really thinking about you as much as you're criticizing yourself. I know that that's something really common that people do, especially like introverted people. We can really like overanalyze conversations afterwards. Or if it's something pretty big that happened like a year ago and you know, you just need to let go of, because we can sit in experiences for longer than we need to be. And that's one thing that therapy has really helped me with too, is like really letting things go. That is, you know, when I was 18 traveling in Thailand, I got this tattoo, and it's pronounced boile in Thai, and it's a teaching that means like just to let it be and to let go and to not try to control. And it's funny because I don't love this tattoo as much anymore, but over the years I've learned to love it because it's almost like my past self who was teaching my future self a lesson that I don't really know why I needed it at 18 at the time. But when I look down at my wrist, I'm reminded that I need to let go, and letting go of scenarios, whatever that might be for you. It's all about just taking step forward, dropping, just shedding that weight that doesn't serve you anymore. In big ways, this can be really detrimental to our self-love and compassion, because it's something that we're just in this continuous cycle of thinking about. So like I said, something small like social interactions, or big things that just keep cycling into our thoughts and into the ways that we think about ourselves. We have to let go, we have to move forward. It takes time and effort depending on what it is that you experienced. But as you move forward, you let it go, you come to the realization that you have to forgive yourself because you are only human, and whatever it is that you went through, it's in the past and we have to move forward from it. And that way we can start to love ourselves again, because it's hard to love yourself if you can't forgive yourself. We have to learn to forgive. My next tip is to nourish yourself, to create rituals that brings you joy, to pamper yourself when you need it most. I know for me, on days that I'm feeling off, pampering myself is my go-to. I will likely do a bubble bath with lavender. I will take a walk outside. I'll create a warm drink and make sure that it's something that nourishes me. So something with like ginger or just nutrients that will give back to me, whether it's for my digestion or if it's a hydrating element, like something that's really just going to bring me to life. And it's really the thoughts that you put into the moments. Like, I know that this tea has nutrients for me that are beneficial, and it really does create like this full circle healing process, and it can really be so beneficial in helping us create the space to just feel better, slowly but surely. Sometimes I love just doing like a full hair condition, a full body moisturizing with like coconut oil, and this is my look right now. I'll light a candle, put music on, move my body, go outside, get some fresh air, go sit by the creek, go to a body of water, journal, just go fully into bringing yourself back. And when you go to bed at night, that night that you do this full pamper routine, you're gonna wake up the next day and without a doubt, you will feel better. Lastly, I wanna talk about quieting your negative self-talk. And I wanted to give this its own section because I've touched on negative self-talk throughout this video, but negative self-talk is the number one thing that is detrimental to self-love, because it is us telling ourselves that we are not worthy of the love, care, and attention that we deserve. But this isn't true, and we're telling ourselves lies, because just being and existing, that makes you worthy of love. We all deserve love, and especially love from ourselves and compassion from ourselves, because at the end of the day, we are who we have, right? Like, we're always going to have ourselves. So learning to love ourselves is one of the most crucial things that we can ever learn to do in our lifetime. And it takes practice and it takes effort. It is complex, and it is something that we can learn to do over time though. It's not a lost cause. If you have negative self-talk and you're feeling down on yourself, like, you can absolutely get out of that. I really loved the conversation between Jay Shetty and Kendall Jenner on the On Purpose podcast. The On Purpose podcast with Jay Shetty is a podcast that I really like, and Kendall Jenner was talking about that TikTok trend that's popular about somebody saying that, you know, whenever I'm having negative self-talk and I'm being hard on myself, I think about my younger self, and then I think that's who I'm talking to. And I really love that concept, and I really love that trend, and I actually did it on my TikTok too. I did like a video of me as a kid, and I said, when I'm feeling down on myself, or when I'm speaking negatively about myself, I think about my younger self. I look at a photo of myself or a video of myself as a kid, and then I realize, okay, that's who I'm talking about. And then you realize that you need to be more kind and compassionate, because you are that kid. You are still that child. And a really good visualization for this is imagining yourself as a little kid, telling that kid all of the things that are true about who you are and who you become. Because when we can see that innocence in ourselves, because we were all little once, we were all innocent once, and when we're younger, we're kinder to ourselves, and we're imaginative, and we're just playing and having fun, we're not being so hard on ourselves. And we have to learn how to get back into that. Just like play is really important as an adult, we need to remember to play and imagine. We also need to kind of create that innocence around who we are and that gentle, kind energy. And Kendall mentioned how she has now put a photo of her childhood self on her mirror in her bathroom, so that anytime she's looking in the mirror and being hard on herself, she can look down at that cute little girl and say, I don't deserve to talk to myself this way. And I really, really love that she did that. So if that's something you want to try, I say go for it. Put a picture of yourself on your mirror in your bathroom, or on the mirror where maybe you can be critical of yourself, so that you can second guess that negative conversation that you're having with yourself. If you enjoyed this video and you want more content like this, definitely check out Soul Sugar Podcast. It is the podcast that my husband and I host together. We post a new episode at the beginning of each week. I hope that you enjoyed these 5 real and tangible ways to practice self-love today. Thank you again to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video, and I will see you all very soon in a new video. Thanks for watching.